Hollywood has told the story of Cleveland mobster Danny Green, but up until now, his son Danny Kelly never has. Each day Kelly wakes up feels like a gift.
Hey.
At 63 years old, he knows where he's been and he knows what he wants to do the rest of his days.
I had a lot of adversity in my life, but I've been pretty blessed, so I believe you got to help where you can.
Growing up in Collinwood, Kelly loved to play sports, went to school, and he spent most of his free time with family.
After church on Sunday, everybody would go to Grandma's. Back then, the beer man would bring 2 cases of Black Label on a Saturday up on the porch and a case of Little Tom's, and everybody would get together.
It was a normal upbringing, with one twist, of course. Kelly's father was Danny Green, one of Cleveland's most infamous mob figures in the 70s. When people hear his name, they think something. When you hear his name, what do you think?
He's my father. I had somebody ask me, your father was Danny Green? I said, well, my father is Danny Green. Death can't even take that away, you know? And I love your father like everybody loves their father.
Kelly doesn't share his father's last name. He instead uses his mother's maiden name. It's just the way that his dad wanted it.
Having my last name be Kelly and everybody, Danny Green, helped me a lot because I could still play baseball every now and then or do some normal things.
However, a different name can only hide so much. Danny Green has had books and movies made about the way that he lived his life. But this was far from a fairy tale story.
Probably from about 5th grade until my father went on ahead. I was 5 weeks into my 12th grade. They were trying to kill him every day.
Green started making a living on the docks of Lake Erie, but he would eventually get caught embezzling money as his union's president. So to make money, Green turned to a life in organized crime. Green's family had no idea that he was a strongman for the Italian mob. When did you know that your dad had a different job?
You know, maybe about 11 or something like that.
But it's around this time that Kelly's dad had a falling out with his mob boss, Shonder Burns. Burns wanted Green dead, so a bomb was planted on Green's car. However, Danny found that bomb before it exploded, and he returned it to his boss. Burns' death via car bomb in 1975 marked the beginning of a war between Cleveland's established mob and Danny Green. Joining forces with rogue mobster John Nardi, Green had a plan to take down the old guard by force. Cleveland became known as Bomb City, USA.
It seems surreal because at the time in the 70s how it was here. But understand also, if you look back in them, we had like 40, 50 bombs go off in our city at that time. So this was real.
Green had a target on his back and he would rely heavily on others to watch it, even his own teenage son.
My dad didn't have the big organization of money and I was the oldest son, so a lot fell on me just to do what he asked to keep him and the family safe. You'd have to throw a stone on the hood of the car. If the stone wasn't there, you know, me and my dad, you'd lift up the hood of the car to see if everything was okay.
It's gonna take more than a few firecrackers to kill Danny Green!
Despite the Mafia's countless attempts to kill Green, he just seemed to have 9 lives. This Irishman wasn't shy about it either, as heard in this interview with WJW reporter Bill McKay.
But I have no axe to grind, but if somebody wants to come after me, we're over here by the Celtic Club. I'm not hard to find.
He was cautious and he looked, but you know, it just, if it happened, it happened. He really believed that. The man upstairs pulled the strings.
However, Green knew that his luck would eventually run out. As long as he was alive, there would be people after him. This is where Danny Green spent his last moments alive. Walking back from a dentist appointment, he was killed by a car bomb that was parked next to his. Danny Jr. was the first from the family to see the aftermath, and it was in this parking lot that Danny Jr. knew he was going to live a different life from his father's.
Lives are lost and lives are taken, and families are always left in the lurch. Now, I was part of the family, so I know, and it wasn't just my family, it was other people that were taken, their lives lost, their families were left in the lurch, and I just made a decision, I'm just not gonna go that way.
Kelly feels lucky to be alive. Life without a father is tough, especially when you become a target of the mob.
I mean, I was 17 and I was on the front page of the Plain Dealer. They had me and 5 other, we had a hit on us, you know.
You had a hit on you?
Front page of the Plain Dealer, they said the Mafia, these are the people you're going to kill. And
sitting here today might not even be possible without the help of former Cleveland Police Chief Ed Kovacic. Kovacic told Danny Green before he died that he would make sure that Kelly didn't end up just like his dad. Ed kept that promise.
There are points in your life where you're not that smart, but maybe somebody pushes you down the right path. Ed was one of them fellas for me. You know, I'm sure he told my dad because he was a family man, and my dad really couldn't be the family man, but Ed certainly was.
So at the age of 17, Kelly became a union man, helping to build high-rises in the city of Cleveland. Working construction is far from a glamorous lifestyle, but Kelly never had to worry about his car getting bombed. At the time, you're talking about a hit out on you, you're talking about eyes on you if you're ever gonna, seek revenge. Why do you think you never went down that path?
Well, my dad asked me not to. He said, take care of your family. My faith was a big part of it.
Retiring at a young age, Kelly decided whatever time he had left would be spent giving back. However, a surprise call from City Councilman Brian Mooney last year would put that mission to the test.
When I got the call from Councilman Mooney that he wanted to consider me, I was out in Hawaii visiting a friend in the Air Force, and I said, give me a couple days.
What Kelly needed to process was what Mooney wanted from him. Mooney represented Cleveland's 11th Ward in City Council, but was stepping down to become a judge. Mooney wanted Kelly to consider applying to be his replacement.
I went and prayed on it, and I think there's a lot of people like me to pray on stuff all the time. Maybe they don't openly say it as much, but I've needed prayer my whole life.
Kelly, a Democrat, had never held political office before.
Just call me.
Fellow City Councilman Michael Polenzek knew that he would be the right man for the job.
Just a good person, cares about people. And so for the people of Ward 11 on the west side, I don't think you could have picked a better person to represent that community.
Ultimately, Kelly was chosen among several candidates to fill Mooney's seat. This new title has taken some getting used to. How weird is it hearing Councilman Kelly?
Call my mom, I says, well, I just left, the day's over, I got a parking spot, I got a badge to get out of here, and no one fired me, so I guess I got it, because it just felt surreal, Let's see what it looks like in the back.
A lot of mold in there.
Despite his humble nature, Kelly has never backed down from a challenge. He managed to raise 4 kids as a single parent, and anything after that feels like a breeze.
There's always a way. You can always do it. There's always a way. How's your son doing?
He's good.
Kelly calls his role in council a blessing. Every day, he gets a chance to help others. The hardest part of the job is being back in the public eye. For over 4 decades, Kelly kept his head down, he kept his thoughts to himself, and he never capitalized on opportunities to make a buck. You've never talked. You've turned down opportunities to be with books, movies. I'm sure people have been badgering you for years. Why did you never do any of it?
Well, I made a conscious decision when I hit my knees and I got up and I had that lunch bucket in my hand that living my own life has nothing to do with making money on the old man's. And it's been a good decision for me.
At 63 years old, Kelly has now outlived his father by 20 years. He likes to point out that Hollywood's depiction of the mob life tends to leave that part out. It's why you're never going to hear Kelly glorify what his dad did.
I think the decision I made has done well for me. I'm alive, I'm happy, healthy, I got kids, I got grandkids.
46 years after Danny Green's death, his son has taken a different path. He goes by Councilman Kelly these days. But it was a decision he made in 1977 that got him here. At just 17 years old, Kelly promised himself to never look back. He never has and never will. Reporting in Cleveland, Brett Hamilton, Fox 8 News.